Yo, so just out for a little walk, man. Really just doing a little test run to see what type of thoughts I come up with while I'm on camera. Been trying to get into this YouTube thing. I'm just a little more like, check the sound real quick on this shit. I'm gonna let it run. So, I've been trying to get on here for a minute, man, and I'm really the type, though. I need somebody to bounce off of. You know what I mean? I need somebody to argue with. I need somebody to agree with. You know, I'm a Libra, so I feed off of other people's energy a lot. It's not hard for me to get up here and just talk, but it's not enjoyable for me, you know. So, of course, a lot of people see I post a lot about basketball, really into wrestling, really into sports in general. I used to be on here heavy with the religion. I like talking about the dating space because it's a social thing, it's a Libra thing, it's a people thing. It deals with people and how they move and react. Sociology is the right word. Sociology, psychology. Another reason why it's a little bit difficult to get up here and go in is because a lot of stuff, man, is in like don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out living their life, having a great time, having fun, and I do too. When I go places, when I do stuff, I have a great time, no matter what. But, you know, a lot of stuff is in like a down state. Like, we're in a time where a lot of people are, you know, oh, basketball's not how it used to be. It's not as good as anymore. You know, they're like wrestling, same thing, pro wrestling, WWE, AEW, same thing with dating. Same thing with like everything right now. Everything right now is, everybody's just like, you know, it's not as good as it used to be. I mean, but on the flip side, you do have that crowd that's just like, you know, oh, nah, y'all's just old school. This is the best it's ever been. You know, you just old. You know, like basketball. A lot of people will say, well, this is the best basketball. This is the best brand of basketball you could play. That comes from a lot of younger people or either people that's older that's just, you know, feel like it's better. So, for me, I mean, I'm old school to a degree. So, I feel like, yeah, shorty dragging her fucking little plastic coverings that be under your car. She dragging and shit, like, rip that shit off. For me, basketball comes to mind. You know, I like what I like. I like the flash, I like the flair, but I'm also a very defensive player, defensive guy, team guy. I hate these shades. I mean, I bought these shades for the beach. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, these is only for the beach. These is beach-only shades, but I got to throw them on now. It's bright as hell out here. So, yeah, obviously, I'm from Carolina, man. So I like the Hornets. You know, I'm a homer. I don't believe in liking a team from somewhere else where you're not from. But the thing that really made me start liking my home team only, because I always supported, obviously, at the Bobcats, is because before I started full-time just going for the Hornets, I liked the Spurs. Like, Tim Duncan is one of my favorite players all time. So I actually moved to San Antonio, though. And the way that they would look at me when I told them that my team was San Antonio was, I didn't like that. And it just kind of weighed on me and made me feel like, yeah, like, I'm repping their team. Let me let them rep their team, and I'm gonna rep my team. You know, granted, I was like 20, 27, 28 years old around this time. So I was like, yeah, I'm not supporting no more teams that ain't hometown teams. They supporting their hometown team. That's what I should be doing. So obviously my favorite team is the Hornets. I like LaMelo Ball. That's my favorite player in the league. He was one of my favorite players in the world, even when he was in Australia, even when he was in Lithuania, even when he was in high school, and on the amateur circuit. I really liked him. I was really happy that the Hornets drafted him. Other than that, Knipple's cool, obviously. Rookie of the Year candidate. Shoots a lot of threes. I like that. Brandon Miller, he's good. They're all, except for Khan, I guess you could say, a little injury prone, you could call it. Miles Bridges is cool. I don't like the controversy he got into with, his girl and all that. But, all couples get into physical altercations sometime if you think that's normal. And then, obviously we've always been missing a big man, especially in the recent years. We do have Kalkbrenner, so we're pretty young. We just need to let grow up a little bit. Obviously now you got the playoffs going on. The Timberwolves is my sleeper pick to win it if they could get over their injuries. I like Wemby, of course. I like the Spurs. They have a good team. How could you not like the Thunder? Detroit is hard-nosed. I don't think they have enough offense. I think OKC, if they play a formidable opponent, they will run into not having enough offense. I could be wrong, though, because those guys come off the bench and just do their jobs and ball out. I believed in Cleveland because I felt like they had everything they needed. Just the same reason why I like the T-Wolves. But I'm starting to feel like they don't have enough depth. And then, of course, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, they're not the most reliable players in big moments or in clutch situations. So they'll have to figure that out. So yeah, that's that. On the wrestling side of things, and this is just a quick overall update on anything. I'm really just trying to test my sound and just test out doing these little walk videos in general. On the wrestling side of things, I feel like the roster is loaded, but they're not being utilized and matched and paired correctly. I don't want to use the word story, even though, of course, obviously I just did. But I feel like we have become a little too storyline dependent in wrestling. The point of wrestling is wrestling. The wrestling is the story. The matches are the stories. You don't have you don't have a reason. You don't need to have a reason to be wrestling someone. You're wrestling because you're trying to move up the rankings and get toward a title shot. That's the story. Now, do you need to make it compelling? Don't have them out there wrestling for no reason, of course. But that also comes with each wrestler having their own personal story. You don't have to go full-blown back to the job wrestler, where every wrestler had a job. You have mechanics, race car drivers, tax consultants, the $1 Million Man, Hulk Hogan. But you do have to give each wrestler a compelling story. That means without having an external story with their opponent, at least that wrestler's personal story. So he brings that story into the ring with him. And then that collides with the other wrestler's story and motivations. So as you're watching the fight, you know where they both came from and what's on the line. That's the point of a storyline. Making it feel like there's something on the line, even if there's no title involved. And now I feel like all of the wrestlers had the same story. I was a young wrestler at NST, and I've been working on my craft. You know, trying to be a better wrestler. That's the story for all of them. They all came from NXT. You know, they all came up through the ranks. So that's not, at a certain point in time, that's no longer interesting if it's everyone's story. Now, if that was one or two folks' story, the underdog came up through the ranks story, that's cool, but it can't be everyone's story. Oh, we all came from developmental together. That's kind of boring, you know? Because now that's when you have to add a storyline and tell me why now they're fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? The lack of cool factions is hurting the wrestling game too. It's just, you know, a lot needs to be done. So hopefully they figure it out. So yeah, that's where we're at with those things. We'll dive into some deeper topics. I definitely want to go ahead and go over my all-time rankings when it comes to NBA players. I want to do an all-time ranking for wrestlers too. So we'll get into some of those things. I'm gonna check the audio on this and then see how I like it as far as entertainment value, because I do want to come on here and be entertaining. I don't want to just be up here and, you know, even though a lot of the YouTubers I watch, they just talking, but, you know, I deal with them, so I watch them. So, yeah, man. Joe Carr USA signing off.